We're still on the UEFA Champions League, which is back in our faces. The round of 16 promises to be exciting. We've discussed some of the other games surrounding English sides, and now we're doing justice to the remainder of the games taking place this week. So, starting with you, Max, there are claims around social media that PSG are not as strong as they used to be, and that Chelsea should be able to power through them. Do you agree with those claims?
I mean, yeah, they're kind of worse than last season, obviously, but that guys won 4 trophies last season. Yeah, they did lose against Monaco at home a couple of days ago. But in an overall perspective, yeah, Chelsea lost only to Arsenal on road, but still, the PSG team is more structured and coordinated in terms of squad and everything else. So I do see them as the favorites for the first game at least, and I expect them to win. But in the whole head-to-head, yeah, it can go either way, but looking at the behavior of Chelsea team, we can see 2 red cards in both games, and they end up losing 0-8. So anything can happen.
Yeah, fair point. Anything can happen. And just before this question, Victor, I would like to give some context to our viewers out there. Manchester City versus Real Madrid is now the second most played fixture in Champions League history. Almost every single season, you can expect that these guys will play. And based on that fact, Victor, do you think City will have some psychological fear against Real Madrid, considering that the Spanish side have knocked them out of this competition 4 times, including in the last 2 campaigns?
Yeah, UEFA seems to have a bit of a fetish for this pairing. It's definitely the tie of the round. It just makes sense. Two great teams, they usually put a good show against each other. As for fear, I don't think City fear anyone, and I also don't think they should fear anyone. Pep is still a good motivator for what it's worth, and this is still Man City we're talking about. This is one of the greatest English teams of the modern era. If you look at the head-to-heads, though, for these two, Real Madrid and Man City, since 2020, City are actually quite a bit better than Real. It's been 5 wins for City, 3 for Real, and 3 draws. But, and here's the thing, this is Real Madrid at home in Europe. At the Bernabeu, they've had 3 losses all season in all competitions. No draws, they just don't do draws, and 15 wins. I would love to see a win for City here, but I think it's quite unlikely. And as far as I can tell, we are well overdue a Guardiola masterclass in overthinking tactics for a big game this season. I think it happens here, and I think that's what will sink Man City.
Interesting claim. And back to you again, Max. Many people somehow believe that Arsenal should beat Leverkusen, I mean, including the bookmakers. But do you think the Germans have enough firepower to hurt the Gunners?
I actually don't see Bayern losing first game because looking at their recent form, they conceded only 1 goal in last 6. They're not losing in 6, and throughout all season, they conceded all as well 6 goals from the corners, which is good result, especially against Arsenal side, which is relying on corners sometimes. And Arsenal itself wasn't that convincing on road recently. I'd say the only game they've been decent was the game against Spurs, but Spurs are fighting for relegation. So I'd say Bayern can make an upset and maybe even win, but I'd say they're not losing at least.
Okay. I'll remind you about that statement sometime next week. And moving on back to you, Victor. Both predictions for any of these games?
Just like what Max mentioned, Chelsea red card, we're all seeing it coming, right?
That's really not bold at this point, but yeah, fair enough. Let's go over to the score predictions, Victor. PSG, Chelsea.
Red card, yes, but I still see Chelsea winning 2-1.
Interesting. Real Madrid, Man City.
3-0 Real.
Wow. Leverkusen, Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. Maybe one from a corner.
Interesting. And over to you, Max. Both predictions for these games.
I mean, Arsenal not winning is kind of bold, so I'd say this one.
Fair point. Then the score predictions: PSG, Chelsea.
2-1 PSG.
Real Madrid, City.
1-3 City. Easily.
Leverkusen, Arsenal.
1-1.
Interesting takes. Anyways, that's all we have for the UCL games, round of 16. The first leg games that will be taking place this week. The second leg games will take place next week, of course. But first off, let's see what happens in the upcoming round of action, because we'll be here for all the best bits after they happen.